Sorry. I had a slight moment of madness there. I keep forgetting this clock. The only complaint I have about my Jeep, and like I said, don't be too impressed. Everybody's like, oh, you're a show off. I'm like, dude, I owned a Jaguar once. Well, I've owned two. The other one I got to drive like half a dozen times, and it was like, I can't remember how many years old. The one I had for the longest was a 2003 with 80-something thousand miles on it that we bought used. So, no, it's not impressive. Okay, I don't do the show. It's like, I can actually go to my grave saying I've owned a Jaguar, 3 Cadillacs, a couple, well, at least one Lincoln, but it doesn't matter because you're still going to your grave. Okay. Oh, by the way, the 3 Cadillacs were hearses. But that's a whole nother story. I'll have to share pictures of those again on the channel one of these days. And trust me, one of the things you're going to learn when you try to, restore a car, you're either for a certain price going to get a car that is falling apart with the engine perfectly running, or a car where it's the interior, the vehicle, and all that is in pretty damn good shape, but you're going to have to probably rebuild the engine and the drive system. That's one thing I've learned in that field. The 62 ran, but it needed a lot of work on the interior and such. Like I said, the 65 I had, oh God, I wish I could go into detail about the 65, but the engine was a pile of, literally had been turned into a pile of crap. And oh God, the 83, like I said, needed an amount of interior work. The interior wasn't bad, and the guy had done his own engine work. He was a race car driver. Local. Don't worry, it's no one famous. I loved that car because somehow this big 83 Cadillac with all the aerodynamic abilities and sleekness of a monolith was getting 20 miles to the gallon with a 6-liter V8 4-barrel carburetor. I don't know how he did it, but all I know is that sucker went from 0 to 60 like nothing. There's nothing like blowing by people on the highway at 75 miles an hour in a hearse. You should see the look on their faces. But okay, back to Doctor Who. Yeah, we are once again still in the nethers of madness. We, of course, still have no announcements, no news, and of course the usual suspects from the posers, the Waycott, and the usual gang are out there going, acting like they know something, and guess what? Nobody does. Like I said, they're all just doing their best to keep things going because sooner or later people are going to realize, why am I tuning into this guy? Me, it's like the YouTube channel, YouTube could collapse tomorrow, and I still have a job. Okay? That's one of the reasons I didn't really get heavily invested into YouTube. Like I said, I do this as a hobby. I don't do this for money. Yeah, sure, I get a check every now and then. Maybe $100 and something bucks. And that's maybe every couple months, okay? It's like not impressive. It's here we go. Somebody trying to flood out the chat as usual. Oh, well. Wow, I'm getting all kinds of menus I've never seen before. Welcome to the 24-hour remove. Goodbye. Oh no, I flipped the camera. Ah! You can see my dashboard now. Oh, wow, wait a minute. Yeah, you got people who try to flood out the chat so they can crash. They're trying to crash out the video because, they got nothing else to do while their mommy, they're still locked on mommy's teat. It's just, ugh. Can I help you with a blocked nose? Vapor rub. and some Dayquil. All right, next. I am not a doctor of that kind, but that's what I have a lot of experience with that. I have allergies upon allergies upon allergies, so it's that would help stop a blocked nose if that's what's blocking his nose. All right, meanwhile, I love how this channel, which is literally, we're not even on the radar yet, they for some reason feel the need to send their AI bots or whatever into here. Don't know why. But, as I said before, we don't have any news. We don't have any, leaks. We don't have anything like that. The closest thing you got to Doctor Who being back, of course, is Big Finish. And, of course, the main range with the new adventures with Eccleston and Billy Piper coming around. There's also the, if you're into watching Billy Piper on Wednesday, like I said, I tried watching Wednesday yesterday, but the problem is after you've worked 9 hours, it's hard to stay awake for anything. So I got to go back and rewatch, I think, all of episode 2 because I conked out. And so how's everybody doing? And it's kind of scary, too, that, even the trolls are being replaced by AIs. And, the other people who are really worried, the actors. Because, let me see, would I rather pay somebody a few $1 million, come out and do about 3 months worth of work? Or would I rather have pay somebody about a third, not even a quarter of that, to come out and make an image of someone that looks remotely like them, that'll do it for, like I said, whatever the programmer charges you. And that is definitely a scary thought to a lot of these folks out there who've been sitting on their laurels and all that. Imagine when the AI music artists come out. They'll probably be better than the crap we've gotten in the last 20 years. Come on, if WAP can become a #1 song in this country, chances are an AI bot could come up with something better. Like I said, not all celebrities are evil, all right? They're people just like you and me. The problem is you do have that very few percent who think that the world, the whole world was put there to kiss their ass. But of course you've got people like that in every walk of life who for some reason think everybody else in the world was put here to watch the sunshine flow out of their starfish and, feel that they should be, tongue kissing their cinnamon ring every day. It's just scary. And then reality hits. Oh. What do I do for work? I work. All right. Yeah, the cinnamon ring, the brown starship, the dark eye of Sauron and everybody's backside, that thing. All right. Yep, the brown eye, the stink eye, that'll give you pink eye. So no, there's no Doctor Who news. There's no announcements. I don't think there's going to be an announcement, or they're trying to put it off until War Between the Land and the Sea airs with their fingers crossed, hoping that for some reason War Between the Land and the Sea is going to save their ass. And if there'd been a miracle, negotiation or something like that, we'd heard about it already. Like I said, the only things I've heard are a couple different things. One is Disney wants to keep the show, but they don't want RTD and Bad Wolf. And given, like I said, the last 2 seasons were not horrible. It's just the finales were just completely not even close to par. I'm not kidding. We brought back classic villains that turned into easily defeatable CGI morons. Come on, Sutek, Omega, you screwed those up. Now you got the classic fans turning their backs. What do you mean they turned white characters black? Oh, really? Come on. Like I said, I don't believe in any of that stuff. I think, in my opinion, the person who's most qualified to play a role, I don't care what sex, whatever, race, creed, color, whatever they are. I don't care. Well, that was Marvel and Disney. That was their thing, okay? The thing that I couldn't get, you're bringing up Ironheart, was I was talking to a friend of mine. I'm like, wasn't that a comic book that failed miserably, Ironheart? And he goes, and he's a pretty good avid comic book collector. And he's like, yeah, and he goes, it didn't do all that well. And I'm like, then why did you turn it into a movie? I don't either. If there was going to be a renewal announcement, it would have been, RTD would have been blasting it to the skies. I honestly think, like I said, this is my opinion, that he thought that his new Who was going to be so damned amazing that Disney was going to renew off the bat, and like they've done with some series, with other things have done this. Like, remember The Walking Dead, 6-episode first season, boom. They weren't even a quarter way into that, and boom, they're renewed for another season. Look at Fallout. Fallout didn't even make it to the end of the first season. It was already been renewed. Now it's been renewed for 2 more series. I think The Well was a damn good story, and it turned out to surpass my expectations. I thought, honestly, oh great, they're going to take Midnight and screw it all up. But, well, if you believe in UFOs, that's good on you. I believe in the fact that there's probably extraterrestrial life. And also there's things on this planet we don't know about. Hell, you got the moon sitting up there in orbit. They still don't know much more about the moon other than it's made of this, it's made of that. But chances are, they don't tell you that there's a possibility the moon's even older than Earth. The capture theory don't work in its case because of its nearly perfect circular orbit. They're trying to tell us for years the moon was shot out of the Earth because of a collision. That turns out that's not true. So right there, one of the biggest mysteries in the universe is hanging right there in your sky every night. Also, we know more about the surface of the moon than we do the under parts of our own oceans, the deepest depths, and yet people sit there, nah, that can't happen. No, that can't happen. Yeah, no, that creature went extinct. Yeah, tell that to the coelacanth, which is still alive and thriving today, along with countless other species that are almost virtually unchanged. Hell, sharks are basically the same, only smaller, and they've been that way for hundreds of millions of years. So, no, I think we started declining sometime after around the last moon mission, around Vietnam. I think we just started going downhill. Because that's when we had a space program, and that's when then they dumped everything to invest in the great intergalactic, or the great, planetary semi, which was the shuttle, and that's all it was never designed to go anywhere but orbit, and they spent how many millions of dollars or billions of dollars on that thing. I know, he really did screw up Omega and Sutek bad. But then again, look at what the Daleks were like towards the end. Oh, look, we're going to kick them around. They're going to be spinny, funny little things. And then Chris Chibnall made them scary again. Yet Chibnall's the one who's been blamed for every damn thing, including herpes. I'm not kidding. It's just, ugh. Yeah, you're right, Raj. It is that time. No, I believe Bigfoot is a species of man that has existed all the way up to this time. And we see, basically they just want nothing to do with us because we killed everybody else on the planet. They could be Neanderthal. They could be an offshoot of Australopithecus. But like I said, just because, look, I'm not kidding. Go look up the panda on how many years it took them to bring in a panda. You're going to get a laugh out of that. And pandas are dumber than a bag of hammers. But as these guys are saying, I just looked at the clock. I'm going on 16 and a half minutes, so I better get out of here. So please, be kind, be calm, be safe. Enjoy the rest of your day. Keep your eyes peeled on the news. If any of you hear anything, you know where to get a hold of me. If I hear anything, I'll be sure to let you know. So take care, everyone. Have a great day. Enjoy your Thursdays. It is Thursday, ain't it? I hope so. Oh, okay.